Good morning, Ms. Davis and Ms. Maxey. My name is Frank Romano. I appreciate the opportunity to answer these questions for this video interview. The position I'm applying for is the Director of Business for Mercy Research. My education background is a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering from the University of Missouri, Columbia, and I have a MBA from WashU, Olin School of Business in St. Louis. One of the classes that I took in my MBA program was a class called The Hatchery, which is a business plan writing class, and there's a competition. Our team was able to write a business plan to run a product called FireOut, an automatic fire extinguisher. Here is a prototype of that, which helped us win first place in that competition. We had a prototype that we were able to give to the judges to really see and feel what the product was like. A little more about that later. When I graduated college, I had the opportunity to go either to design engineering in a consulting firm or go into manufacturing. And I really wanted to do manufacturing because I enjoy making products. And so my career in manufacturing started, and most of the first part of my career was in different roles, both functional roles as plant engineer, process engineer, project engineer, and also management of those processes. I was able to get trained in total quality management in the late 80s, early 90s, and I was a trained facilitator for our region, for our chemical company here in the Midwest. That position allowed me to move to Monsanto, and with that position I started off as a business unit manager making food phosphates. I always told my kids phosphates are in everything, they're all around us, and they always got a kick out of that. But from there, Monsanto was in the process of spinning off their chemical business, and I stayed I was able to move into the production planning group in the commercial side of the business because I really wanted to diversify my career. So at that point, I moved into that role in corporate, and from there I was able to lead that group during the change into Solutia. And then in 2000, Monsanto decided to joint venture the phosphate business we had with a competitor to a business called Astaris. And at that time period, I was going through my MBA program. I graduated in 2001 with my MBA, and at that point I wanted to again explore more opportunities if possible in Astaris, which was the company that was formed, in more of the commercial area. So there was an opening in marketing. I moved into the marketing role for a year, and then, 2 years. And then after that, the CEO asked me to be the director of customer service because they needed someone to lead that group. So all through this time period, I had really good experience working on teams, leading teams, being in those positions to help change through this transition, through the sellout, and also the combination of the joint venture of Astaris being formed. And it really gave me a lot of good experience, just really understanding how to work together with people, building those relationships both internally and externally. And that's the real basis of who I am today, all those years experience and that diversity. What happened was in 2005, the company was sold, Astaris was sold to another Israeli company, and they had a big transition there, a big re-engineering, and they severance packaged a number of us out. Well, it gave me an opportunity with my severance package. I took on a business consulting role, and as it turned out, I went back and I called the inventor of the project to see how he was doing, progressing with FireOut at the time, which was the product name. And he indicated he needed some help with marketing and some sales, and also some materials to sell the products, work with the manufacturing to work on an installation manual. So consequently, I did some pro bono work for him. And the good news is the finished product is here. And it was going under UL testing, and it got UL tested. Here's the tag. So what I did was I ended up working with him on the marketing materials and also the installation manual. And as it turns out to today, my understanding is the company has been being marketed under quick fire suppression, and the name FireFo, which we came up with, is the actual product name. So it really gave me an opportunity to see how things work from an entrepreneurial perspective, working on that initial business plan. The inventor took it to market, sold the marketing rights, and I was able to help him with some of those marketing materials. So that was been very gratifying part of my career. Also, the advisor for that program to our team, that gentleman gave me a networking name of a person that worked at the National Corn to Ethanol Research Center at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. And I was hired as the business affairs director, and this really started my career into research and development. At the time, the ethanol industry in 2006 was ramping up. The industry was building out to fulfill the capacity requirements needed for the market. And so I went through a whole transition at the research center as business affairs director, and then we had a change in '09 and I became the director of ops. So all those roles, as you see on my resume, pretty much were the back office responsibilities, all the financial responsibilities, both revenues coming in and expenses going out. We were responsible for our own billing and for accounts receivable, accounts payable, and pretty much procurement. My background also covered, I was responsible for, the contract work. All our clients, we did a lot of contract work for service, and those contracts I was responsible as being the liaison with campus and getting those contracts. Also, I did some business development and going to different seminars and trade shows and had manned a trade booth, et cetera, et cetera. So my background previously had given me also good experience to move forward. I also was leading the research pilot plant group, the technicians and engineers that actually performed the client projects. So in that role for 9 years really is what I would consider the best fit for this position. It's very similar. I got to learn and meet the scientists and the researchers, not only from our organization, but from clients. And you really understand that they really want to do the research and they don't want to be bothered with a lot of the back office issues for making sure their things were purchased correctly, their instruments work, all of that. And I felt very good about having that overall role to make sure that all of the things that they needed were pretty much on my shoulders and my team's shoulders, and we pretty much let the researchers and the scientists do their work, and that's really what they are most proficient at and liked and want to do. So that's really what I would bring to Mercy Research is that experience that I already have in back office management, which also includes, of course, data management, networking with both internal and external customers, building relationships. We did everything there as a team. We had a very small staff of 18, so we had to work collaboratively. We had really good people. They cooperated very well. We had very little conflict. Sometimes conflict on how to do things, but it worked out wonderfully. So I really bring to the table that leadership and even in management experience of those various functional roles, and also being able to work with a team. I also consider myself really an enabler or a mentor. I don't like people to work for me. I always tell people I work for them to try to make sure that they get what they need. That's really my role as a manager or a leader. Next question of why should Mercy be doing research? Well, as a healthcare organization, I think you have to do research to continually improve patient care. It's a vital part of the organization. You've already demonstrated that you can do that, and maybe the old models of doctors just seeing patients and treating them, getting them well, I think those days are long gone, and an organization needs to continually be looking for ways to improve products as you're doing and services so that the quality of patient care can continue and improve, and quite frankly, so you would be recognized as one of the top tier medical and healthcare organizations in the country. So it's extremely important. If you don't do research, I think you're going to fall behind, and their credibility will go down as an overall organization, and also I'm sure over time you would probably lose patients. So doing the research is an extremely important part of a healthcare organization. If I was to start a company, the three values are the basic ones I was taught from a very young age of honesty, courtesy, and respect. Honesty, always talking straight with people, being genuine, being ethical. Being courteous means that you are kind, you listen to people, especially in a team environment. You've got to have that to get the collaboration and the people that do the work with you, the functional work. You want them to buy in and have a ownership part of the process or project you're working on. And respect, of course, treating people with dignity and fairness. I think those are the three overall main things that have to drive any organization. Why do I want this position? This position really would enable me to continue moving forward in the research area. I've come to really enjoy the day-to-day of not being bored. There's always something new to be looking at, to be looking after, to exploring, and the functional parts that functional roles that I've played have gone very successful for me, and I've totally enjoyed that role and having that back office support role for the research center. And this position also enables me to be in that role, and functionally I feel very comfortable in that role. Also, what's really neat is you guys are working on projects for people, and that's even a much better direction, if you want to say, to help people than for, it's good to make industry products, but helping patients get well and their healthcare overall being better over long term is a much better mission, I believe. Socially, I would describe myself as an extroverted person. I enjoy meeting people, building those relationships, like I said earlier, internally and externally. I really enjoy our neighborhood we live in. We've got great neighbors that are part of our extended family. I've built good professional relationships across my career, and I really value those. And I think it sounds like your organization is extremely collaborative, and it would be a similar organization to very easily fit into that collaborative style to get the best out of people that you can get. I also feel like I have a calming sense in stressful situations, and a pretty good sense of humor. After I get settled in, hopefully you'll see some of that. My hobbies are golf, saltwater aquarium enthusiast, and scuba diving, and I also enjoy our family dog. In a closing statement, Mercy Research is already demonstrating that they're improving healthcare for patients. And I would really like to be part of that team, so I really hope that this is an opportunity for me to move forward in the process. I would really like the position to join your team to improve the healthcare quality of patients and improve overall community involvement and service for Mercy. Thank you.